But first, a disturbing story surfaced earlier this year that suggested the FBI attempted to develop sources within traditional Catholic parishes and communities in order to combat what it called domestic terrorism. House Judiciary Committee member Jim Jordan obtained documents to that effect in March. The committee issued a detailed letter this week outlining new evidence that the Department of Justice and the FBI were targeting traditional Catholic communities from multiple field offices. Joining me with more is U.S. Congressman from Louisiana, a member of the House Judiciary Committee, Mike Johnson. Congressman, thank you for being here. When we last had you on the program in April, this investigation was really just getting started. The memo in question came from one FBI office in Richmond, Virginia, which suggested that traditional Catholic communities were somehow hotbeds of domestic terror. And the FBI was actively recruiting undercover agents to monitor and report on these communities. Here's an excerpt of what your committee's letter to FBI Director Wray read this week. From information recently produced to the committee, we now know that the FBI relied on information from around the country, including a liaison contact in the FBI's Portland field office and reporting from the FBI's Los Angeles field office to develop its assessment. Congressman, as you look at this, what does the new information you found about the FBI's original claim that the memo was only associated with one field office tell you?
Well, it tells us a number of things, Raymond. Great to be with you. The first headline, the alarming fact, is that the director of the FBI himself, Christopher Wray, testified before our committee in July. And he said under oath, he was very emphatic, that this involved only one field office. Well, now we know, because we have a further unredacted version of that document you referenced, that that's not true. It looks as though this was a whole of agency approach to target traditional Catholics. It sounds dystopian. It sounds Orwellian. It is. The FBI is engaging in the outright, I call it the steamroll of essential, fundamental First Amendment freedoms of the American people, and we have to stop it.
And Congressman, just to be clear, this memo was really to develop sources, spies, snitches within parishes. I mean, that's what the FBI's calling for here, right?
That's exactly right. They were engaging in a program to try to recruit parishioners to spy on the people in the pews next to them or across from them. It's absolutely outrageous. It didn't go far in its implementation, we think, but the idea that they would engage in this practice and this scheme is just unbelievable. But we're not surprised anymore what's come out of this Department of Justice from the very top, from the Attorney General Merrick Garland all the way down. They're engaging in these activities that are hyper-partisan, hyper-political, and again, are infringing upon the free exercise of religion now. It's really out of control.
How widespread do you think this department approach, and we're talking about the Department of Justice and the FBI, to intrude really on Americans' First Amendment right? And how does this square with what Director Wray has testified to your committee, that it was only isolated to one field office?
Yeah, this is a real problem. I mean, that's the first issue that we have to address. The director was under oath when he told us that on July 12th. So he either perjured himself, or this indicates that he doesn't know what's going on, or he's lost control of the Bureau itself. Any of those scenarios are alarming. But to answer your question, Raymond, this really is part of a larger problem within the Department of Justice. The FBI, of course, is just one division of that. But we know for a fact that they have been engaging in a scheme to censor and silence not only conservative Catholics but all conservatives. They want to stop our activities. They want to really chill the exercise of these First Amendment rights. And it's not just religious freedom. It's all speech. We know that there's this federal court opinion that came out of our home state of Louisiana on July 4th, I think symbolically, a 155-page federal court opinion where the judge looked at all the evidence and said, this may be the most massive attack on free speech in United States history. And he was referring to the Biden administration itself and its agencies like the FBI, because in that case, they were meeting with the big tech platforms regularly in a program to censor and silence conservative viewpoints and Christian viewpoints online. We know that happened. This is not a conspiracy theory. The judge has spelled it out. And so This is a serious problem. It's getting the attention of the American people, and it certainly deserves that.
Yeah, Congressman, in the letter, you and the committee ask the FBI and Director Wray for additional information by August 23rd. What do you hope to find, and are you getting cooperation from the Bureau?
Well, we haven't. They've been stonewalling us, which is part of the problem. We would have had all of this information and all these facts earlier in the year, except that they never really did comply with our request. We had to subpoena the documents. When we got it, it was heavily redacted. This is now the third version of this one document we're talking about, that each piece uncovers a little more and a little more. We've had it. I'm just telling you, the Weaponization Committee, the Judiciary Committee, we're given the constitutional responsibility of oversight over these agencies. And we're going to have to take this to the next level. If they do not cooperate with us, we're going to give Director Wray an opportunity to correct his testimony before us. But if he does not, I think this rises to the level of a contempt charge. He's in contempt of Congress now. We may have to proceed that way. And I'll tell you that ultimately what is the greatest concern here, Raymond, and you and I have talked about this, is that people are losing their faith in our institutions, the system of justice itself, the FBI, for crying out loud. The largest, most important law enforcement agency in America is losing the faith of the American people because the people are being targeted by the agency. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really troubling. Congressman Mike Johnson, thank you for the update. And we'll leave it there, but I hope you'll come back and keep us informed.
We'll do it. Thanks for all you're doing.